Hello.
Bubba, it's Snook Slayer.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, I want to apologize, man. I was wrong. You know what? I overreacted. I went back and listened to the show, and, you're right. I don't know if the Republicans may have cheated. Maybe the Democrats cheated in 2020.
If you listen to what I said every election has got some effery involved on both sides of the fence. I wasn't being anti-MAGA. I wasn't saying that Donald Trump cheated. I wasn't saying that Kamala cheated. I said this election seemed to be fairer than 2020, but probably within this election, there was some effery involved. I mean, there was effery involved when I ran for school president at Warsaw High. And for you to threaten me because, you feel I'm, one way or the other, that's not fair that I can't give both sides of a particular issue. And if I'm not just over here sucking the red D, if indeed I said, you know what, I bet you there was a poll worker that threw in 4 or 5 extra Donald Trump ballots. If you look at, I don't know, 160 million ballots cast, there's bound to be something of tomfoolery involved on both sides of the fence. And for you, such a great listener, to come up on chat with, I don't know how much longer I can take this, I'm about ready to quit Bubba, when I have busted my ass for you, Snook Slayer, to give you a show that you liked for years, and then you, not just somebody
when he gets outside of the echo chamber, though, Bubba, he can't handle it.
Not from somebody that I don't know, but somebody that's, I've seen around for years that have been such a great listener. And for you to say that, it breaks my heart.
You know what, Seth? You're right, man. I've almost become something that I don't like. So you're all right. And the other thing I noticed, Bubba, is I'll get so hyper-focused on making comments that I don't hear everything that's being said on the show.
Chat is great in some instances, but it's also one of the worst things ever to happen to the show. It really is. It's an immediate tether for you guys into us, and we choose to read it or not, whether it's, Rumble, YouTube, Twitch.
What if we just turned it off?
Well, I don't think that's an answer either, necessarily. I think people, but it's such a negative breeding ground because people feel that they can say anything and be negative to the show hell, that you should see some of the anti-Semitic stuff that comes across here sometimes directed to Seth, and Seth doesn't want to see that. I often equate it to this. Dan, what if you're doing surgery on a woman? Okay, maybe you're doing like a breast job and a little lipo deal, okay? And you're in there doing your job, and you've done a lot. Dan, you're as experienced. I probably have a little bit more experience at radio than you do doctoring. I've been in radio nearly 38 years. You've been doctoring, 25, 28 years?
Yeah, a little over 25.
So I got, a little bit more, but still, nonetheless, you've been doing it tens of thousands of times. And while you're doing it, there's this little screen that's telling you how much you suck and that you're doing it wrong and they're ready to quit you. And that, it just kind of gets to you a little bit. I feel that it's a privilege for you guys to chat at us. Maybe that's me maybe taking myself a little too seriously, but it's it's not a lot of regular radio and or content providers. We do a show and we sometimes interact with chat. Most content people don't really do a show. They just do a show that's based around chat. Chat is their show. They read chat and have a show. We do show and happen to glance at chat. And so taking chat away altogether, I don't think is the answer. I think that'll piss more people off. But be respectful and know that we read this, and that if you're not going to be positive, we're just going to block you. Because it's not your right to be disrespectful to us. Now, if you want to, you know what? If you want to pick up the phone and call me, and we can have an interaction about something that we agree or disagree with, that's the best way to get your negative comments in of what you potentially might want to say on chat. Just pick up the phone and call me, 813-90-BUBBA, because at that point you're not a faceless little pussy. You're being a real man, and you're picking up the phone and you're calling me, and we're talking it out like men or women. And Snook Slayer, I'll tell you right now, you are a real man because you picked up the phone, you apologized, you know what you did wrong, and I don't have a problem with you, my friend. And Lummy, if I could figure out how to unblock people, I would unblock them. But I haven't figured out how to do that.
We'll take care of it.
All right, so you guys, Snook Slayer, you're unblocked, but more importantly, you set precedent for, being a real man, picking up the phone, apologizing for being a dick, and I appreciate that, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, I think we can all take a step back maybe, and, we don't need to comment on every goddamn little thing, Bubba. I mean...
You can, though. You can comment on every goddamn little thing, but try to understand that we're not here, we're not here for your opinions of our program. We're here to try to put together a good program for you, and hopefully you support us and will help us. A lot of times, I get some good one-liners from chat.
Yeah.
Like, I get some good stuff from chat. If you can't add, hold on, let me give you a Deion Sanders analogy. Whatever isn't adding and multiplying in your life is probably subtracting and dividing, and you should get rid of it. So if your chat message isn't adding or multiplying our content and our mindset and our mood, and if it's dividing and subtracting our mindset or our mood and delivering you a show, we're gonna probably get rid of you. Does that sound good? Does that sound good, Seth? How do you feel about that? Good with that? All right, my friend. Hey, Snook. Soon as Lummy,
we'll get on it.
Lummy says he's got you. Okay.
All right, buddy. Have a good show, man.
Appreciate. And if you're in there in chat, and you think that, you have the ball. I saw a guy that said, why would you take any advice from Bubba when it comes to women or raising a kid? Look at what his relationship with his son was. When I was giving Mario some very sound relationship with regards to a child custody battle that I have been involved in. That's not very cool for you to say that. That's kind of being a dick. You're lucky I didn't catch it. I would have blocked you. But meanwhile, if you would have picked up the phone, we could have had that conversation. It's easy to call 813-90-BUBBA.